What's going on, guys? Living Zombies here, back with another Pokemon Go video. And in today's video, guys, we are talking about, of course, Shadow, Kyogre, and we're talking about Shadow Groudon, and we might also talk about Shadow Rayquaza too, because I do see a lot of people using multiple Super Rocket Radars to catch multiple Shadow Kyogre. But I feel like you guys should hold off on doing that and use multiple Super Rocket Radars on Shadow Groudon, because I think Shadow Groudon is going to be better and more useful here in the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at, guys, the top 10 water type attackers in Pokemon Go at the moment. So number 1, of course, is the Primal Kyogre. Number 2, Mega Swampert. Shadow Kyogre coming in at number 3. So of course, the Shadow Kyogre, he is good. It is a very good Pokemon. Mega Blastoise number 4, Mega Gyarados number 5, and a few other Pokemon for the top 10 there. Kyogre non-Shadow is number 7, so the Shadow did make it better, of course, but for PvP is not better than the non-Shadow Kyogre. So I think right now, let me double check. Kyogre non-Shadow is number 30 in PvP for the Master League overall, and the Shadow is number 34, and that's because, of course, yeah, it does deal more damage. It gets like a 20% increase, but it's also going to be weaker in the defense too, so more of a glass cannon when in PvP, so that's why it is a little bit worse than the non-Shadow Kyogre. But when in raids, that doesn't necessarily matter, because you're just focused on getting as much damage output as you can to the raid boss as quickly as you can, so that's why it's a lot better for PvE in the Shadow form for that Kyogre. Now, looking at the best ground type attackers, guys, Primal Groudon, of course, is number 1. Number 2, Mega Garchomp. 3, Shadow Ursaluna. 4, Shadow Garchomp. 5, Therian Form Landorus. And 6 is the Groudon. But whenever the Shadow Groudon comes out, I'm pretty sure, in terms of the DPS, Groudon should take the number 2 spot in terms of DPS, because the DPS should be around like 21.37 DPS, which would make it higher than the Mega Garchomp. So it's gonna be number 2 for ground type, whereas the Shadow Kyogre was number 3. Now with the Groudon, guys, in the Master League, it is number 4 right now. Okay, so Groudon is very good in the Master League with the best moveset. The Shadow might be a little bit under that, of course. It'll still be in the top 10, but sometimes the play for Shadow Legendaries, you might have some good plays to make in PvP with a Shadow Legendary. So Shadow Groudon is still going to be very, very good in the Master League. And again, in terms of best ground type attacker, it's going to be in the top 3 as well. And ground type does have a lot of super effectiveness against a lot of raid bosses. So again, I recommend you guys do save multiple Super Rocket Radars for the Shadow Groudon, because I feel like it's going to be more worth it and more useful than the Shadow Kyogre. Now, if you were curious about Shadow Rayquaza, I would assume that in order we should get Shadow Groudon after the Kyogre. So probably sometime close to like the end of spring, early summer, we should get a Shadow Groudon release with Giovanni in special research, and then sometime after that we should get Shadow Rayquaza with Giovanni too. Now right now, the top 10 dragon type attackers are number 1, Mega Rayquaza. Number 2, Mega Garchomp. 3, Mega Salamence. 4 is the Shadow Salamence. And then going down to number 11, actually, is where the Rayquaza is. But I believe a Shadow Rayquaza should take the number 2 spot in terms of DPS. I think the DPS for a Shadow Rayquaza will be around 22.11. So putting it a little bit under the Mega of Rayquaza. So Shadow Rayquaza is going to be dealing a lot of damage up against raid bosses. But in terms of PvP, it's probably not going to be that good, because right now, even Rayquaza in Master League is not that good. I think it's like a little bit below 50. I think it's like 54 maybe in Master League. So a Shadow Rayquaza is going to be even more of a glass cannon, because the defense stat for Rayquaza is not that high already. So it's not going to be very good in PvP. But in terms of raids, it should be pretty decent for sure. But again, I would recommend saving Super Rocket Radars for the Shadow Groudon. That one is going to be an absolute monster in this game, besides, of course, the primal version of Groudon. So yeah, make sure you guys save some Super Rocket Radars for that Shadow Groudon. It's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this game. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like in the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.